So the game started with Caro-kann, advanced variation. E6, knight c3, so we have set up a very good structure, and knight d7. So I think we can push the c pawn, and the reason is maybe you can move knight to c6 instead. So yeah, knight d7, and we are waiting for c5, I hope so, and bishop d3, take, and c5. Yeah, that's good. And we have pushed the c pawn to attack the center. This is good. Bishop e3 and queen b6, attack the pawn and aiming at d4. But we need to be cautious. What about take? I mean, if we take with the knight, the queen is the knight is pinned. If we take the pawn, we need to be aware losing the b7, and white will be so active with this dangerous rook. And if we take with the bishop, it's knight a4. Oh, maybe we can move queen to c5. It looks fine. Maybe take, queen b5. What about this move? Yeah, if we take, the knight is going to check our king, but it looks fine. I think that's all fine. So let's see. So, okay. Okay, the game actually, okay, so we take that with the queen. Yeah, I think take that with the queen is better because we still have the knight aiming at the e5, so the e5 pawn is a weakness, so it's better that we have a knight targeting at e5, queen to b5. Do we have to exchange with the queen? Maybe the queen is going to take our pawn. So if you move the rook to c8, and if you take my queen, I can activate the rook, I can divide the rook, and I don't think white won't take our pawn, because if we attack the queen, and we can take b2 and threatening the knight. These squares are all controlled by the queen. The c5 queen is so strong. We are attacking this knight. And if we play knight a4, can we know? Can we check? And c3, we can move rook to b1, or even rook to queen to c4. I think we break the defense of white pieces. Take it, knight e1, otherwise the rook will be taken, knight e7, and then we can castle. Yeah, queen b5 check, and we can castle. So we will have a safe queen, a safe king, and we will take the e5. I'm pretty confident about that. And our knight and our rook later is more active than white. So yeah, so that's why black has a way better position from the engine. So yeah, so when our opponent offer a trade, so we need to think about it. Should we take it? Should we accept it? Or should we hold it a bit? So I think we can hold on it. Or maybe b6 is better than taking the queen, because if you take, I can take with the pawn. My pawn has been like activated. 97, yeah, that's still good. That's still good. So we don't need to rush trading the queen. Yeah, we have very good space for the knight. Castle. Well, I mean, after trading the queens, I think we don't have to castle. I mean, I understand the 96 is coming, but do we have to castle to the king side? Can we castle to the queen side? So our king can be closer to the center. And if we check, okay, we'll lose f7. So long castle is a problem. Okay, I think it's fine to castle short. Yeah, that's a good move. 96, offer exchange. So we have another way to remove the knight. For example, how about f6? Exchange with the e5 pawn. And our knight is guarding b7. if you put it b4, and if you take, I can attack and take this pawn, and my rook will control this open file. Let me see, take the pawn with the rook. I think take with the pawn. Take with the pawn, we have pawn close at center, and I can attack the knight, or even trap the knight. So black's better. So knight c8, knight go back to d5. I think our opponent is also very patient, doesn't want to trade out knight. a6, knight to d4, b5, knight b6, castle h6. I don't see where is this move going to. Defending g5, but maybe solving some problem at the back rank. But I don't think knight g5 or the back rank threat is very close to us. So we should control the semi-open file, attack the c file. This is something we can attack our opponent. We should speed up. h6. Okay, want to attack the pawn. Yeah. So for example, if we move knight to d7, white cannot really move the knight. So now white can protect the pawn with the f4 pawn, which makes the defense easier. Rook c8, that's good. Exchange, we move rook to c4. So black is still better. And the question is, how can we break this structure? We need to create pawn break. And also, of course, we need to guarding like f5. So for example, maybe we can play g6. Because f5, this is a way white can create a weakness. g6, and other than that, I think we can push b5 and b4. So we can, for example, if our pawn reach b4, if white take our pawn, the knight is weakened. We can attack the knight has to kick away. And if white doesn't take our pawn, we can take the c pawn, and we will have there is isolated pawn on the semi-open file. We can attack the pawn. Knight c5, move on knight e4. This is a good square, but we should still think about a way to attack the c pawn. Rook da. So I don't think, yeah, there's nothing we can do on the d file. So we don't have to protect pawn, it's protected. So instead, I am pretty sure we need to either move the rook and b5, b4. And if I take the pawn, we can control the second rank. It's a really, really good position for the rook. So this is the opportunity we have throughout the game. Offer a trade. No, I think our rook is better than this rook. We should still double the rook. And what can white do? Maybe rook 8 d1. And so yeah, if our rook at the c4, that's better. But I still think we can keep pushing the pawn. So maybe later we can offer a trade. And a5, b4. So we need to open up the file and move our rook to the second rank. So we can come to this position later in our like one-on-one lesson and study which solution is the best one. So now the position become very equalized. So I think if we get a draw, I'm happy with that because the position is very equalized. So now I think we need to activate the game. Of course, we need to like be aware of knight c6, but at least we can move the king to like king fa. Or another thing is we can still push the g pawn to attack the pawn structure. If you take, I take. This is the weakness. We can attack this pawn with the rook, with knight. If you don't take my pawn, I'm threatening this pawn. I have knight at f4. So yeah, so g5 is the thing we missed. Oh, this is rook ca is bad because we give away this open file to opponent. We should move it back. And knight c6. Okay, so our rook has control our opponent's rook has control the open file. That's the problem. So if rook to d6, that's a very bad position. We'll lose a b6 pawn because we cannot trade, right? So our opponent doesn't make the best move. Move rook to d4. So now we are in the worst position than our opponent, because the rook has controlled an open file, and the king can go up to e4, but our king will be lower than the white king, which means white king will be more activated. g4. Yeah, what about maybe h5, something we can do, or g5, at least we can push the pawn. So now white has very high position of the pawns. That's usually a good thing in the end games. King h6, rook, king h7. So why? So we can save the pawn, right? I mean, g6 doesn't work. We'll lose the pawn. But king ga, it definitely protects the pawn. But f5, so there is a en passant. We'll be losing. We'll lose the pawn. And f7. Why didn't white miss this opportunity? That's unfortunate. So we can take the pawn, right? And white cannot do anything about, like, we can also check. So if rook to, we can check. There is a, yes. Oh no, there's not checkmate. The pawn is pinned. But we can move the king up. The king is stuck here. The rook cannot take because there's a check. And we will forever, we will create, like, we'll create a passed pawn. Because the rook cannot take our pawn. If rook takes, there's a checkmate. If pawn take, we can have a queen quicker than our opponent, and we are winning. But we missed this opportunity. That's very unfortunate. So we play rook c5. I don't know how much time have we spent on this move, but certainly we should spend more. And we lost this pawn, and then I think we're definitely losing. We lost 2 pawns, and also white has a very good position king. So I think the critical moment, first thing is when it comes to the after trading the queens, I think initially we're slightly better than white. So for example, after trading the knight, c4 is a good move, and we should think about a way to open up the c file. This is first thing. And another thing is when the game became very equalized, so we shouldn't give away this d file. Yeah, so if we get the draw, I think that's an acceptable outcome. So sometimes if you want to win, actually rook d6, if our opponent rook d6, will lose the game. And the last thing is, yeah, so we actually have a opportunity to win, like taking the b pawn. We made a blunder, and our opponent also made a blunder, and we didn't grab the opportunity. The opportunity is really rare. We only have one chance to secure a huge advantage on the board, but we missed that. I think if we have time, I think we should invest our time on this position. And that's it.